That's right, y'all. You are now rocking with the best. This is the Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast. Let's go.
No other show fucking with us.
They outclassed.
Find a better pod to check.
I doubt
They
that.
pale in comparison.
We get contrast.
Top 5 Dead or Alive. The
Podcast.
top 5 Dead or Alive. The
Podcast.
top 5 Dead or Alive. The
Podcast.
top 5 Dead or Alive.
Podcast.
Street disciple like Godson, hand on my rifle. By the window like Malcolm, scope on the title of the best podcast, let me remind you. T5DOA turn idols to rivals. Condition vital, competition for your survival. Best show on Apple, Spotify, and even Tidal. I'm liable, Ali about to make a killing when these average Joes budding. Oxen-free turns villain. Experience like Rogan when I'm spitting more than milli worth a game of my expert opinion. No other show fucking with us.
They outclassed.
Find a better pod to check.
I doubt
They
that.
pale in comparison.
We get contrast.
Top 5 Dead or Alive.
Podcast.
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 What up, y'all? It's Ali Oxenfree from the Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast. Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast. We are back. New year, a lot has gone. I know we've been away for a long time. Things happen. Hey, but we're back. You know what I mean? New format. It's a new day. It's a new year. Shout out to my brother Cali Rock. Hopefully, I can get him back on the show. We want to get back our amazing guests like Jay Arthur. It was a great contribution to this channel, but we're going to keep it moving. Like I said, we're going to change things up a little bit, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're still going to have fun, with great conversation. You know what? I want you to check out something right quick. All right. This is a video courtesy of CJ3 Music. And I found this not too long ago, maybe a couple of days ago. And it involved something that I've been thinking about and pondering in terms of not taking things personally. When it comes to interacting with, fellow humans on this planet, because we are connected somewhat via this world of ours, even though we don't always act like it. But check this out. Let me see what you think.
People are just walking in front of it like we're not recording.
It happens. People are people. None of it's intentional. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. It's far more likely that they're all in their own worlds, doing their own thing. They're not paying attention to the world around them. And we all do it every day, whether you're driving, walking down the street. All of our lives are just as complex as everybody else's. Everything you have going on, they have going on. Nobody knows what everybody else is going through. We also need to be a little more self-aware and aware of the world around us.
That was deep.
You gotta look deep to find the deep things. If all you ever do in your life is stay at the surface, you'll never find anything worth exploring.
Are you real?
I try to be.
Are you an AI?
No, not at all.
Interesting, very deep. There's a couple of times, I mean, in your life, I'm pretty sure that you've come across individuals, whether in the street, whether people that you know, and something might happen. They might bump into you. They might drop something in front of you. They might not hold the door for you when you're going through it, so on and so forth. Me personally, I am definitely a stickler about that, about people not holding the door or, um, things of that nature. I try to make it my business to be polite, to have courtesy for others, strangers. When I approach women, I'll say miss or ma'am, or I call when I approach men, especially if they're older than me, sir, even if they're around my age or younger, excuse me, sir, things of that nature. and it's not always reciprocated. And I think in the book, The Four Agreements, one of the things that they tackled is not taking things personal. And one thing that I've come to realize that just living on planet Earth, just living in this incarnation that we call life, is that each individual is basically the star of their own movie in a sense. You know what I mean? You are essentially the star in your own movie, and you are essentially the hero in your own movie, in your own mind. And what we don't realize is that in some instances, you might be the villain of somebody else's movie, and you don't even realize it just in your everyday actions, or it could be in your relationships with family, friends, or whoever. In that video, as you can see, people have just walk through their video as they was filming, and the guy was like, "Wow, you see what they did?" But homeboy broke it down like, you really can't take things personal all the time. No one knows what that individual is going through. You know what I mean? I heard a story about I can't remember where it was from. I'm gonna just basically paraphrase it. Guys on a bus, say, and on the bus, there's a man with some kids, and the kids are just all over the place. They're wilding out. They're jumping around, being unruly. And one of the passengers goes to the man and is like, "Hey, man, like, can't you do something about your kids? They're wilding out. Well, what's wrong with you? Discipline your kid." And the guy replies to him and says, in a very somber like manner, and he goes, "Wow, you know what? Yeah, you're right, I guess." He says, "I don't know, maybe they're, acting out because we just recently lost their mother." You know what I mean? And when you think about that, if somebody hits you with that, you're gonna be taken back. And it's gonna make you really think about, each individual's own personal movie, the movies that we're not privy to, the movies that we don't always get to see because we're too busy watching our own movie. You know, there's people out here going through things that we don't even realize. You know what I mean? And I don't think we're always mindful of things of that nature. And sometimes we got to take a step back and really kind of give a little, I don't want to say leeway or whatever. I don't know what the word is for it, but just be considerate and the fact that we don't always know what individuals out there are going through. You might be going through something yourself, and you might be acting in ways that somebody else might deem irresponsible or inconsiderate or what have you, and you might not be able to handle it. But, I think something like this, at least for me, was a real like kind of like an eye opener, and it's something that made me a little bit more introspective into my own life and how I deal with people, as well. Um, but I just found it really interesting. You know what I mean? And the way that that guy broke it down, I mean, it was so matter of factly. He did sound like a damn robot. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a lot of wisdom in what he was saying. You know what I mean? But that's life, man. We all just try to make a way on this planet, and hopefully we'll get through it in the best way and try to be nice to each other. Whatever happened to being nice? You know what I mean? Like, where's that? It's a lack of just, you know what I mean? Just being nice. That word is like not even in the English uh vocabulary as much as it really should be. This next video was courtesy of Risa Islam. This is very interesting. It's going to be kind of touchy for certain people. I don't want to offend nobody. I'm not going to give a definitive opinion about this. I really just want to know what you guys think about it. All right.
Friday!
It's a lot to unpack in that video. I'm a real live and let live type of person. Um, when it comes to the conversation of sexuality and things of that nature, I tend to be on the side of, hey, we all are incarnated into our avatar, which is this body and this universe that we don't know what exactly it is. Um, uh, if you're lucky, you get 80 years to enjoy your life, 80 years or plus, if you're lucky. It is your life to do what it is that you want to do, essentially. And then when it comes to sexuality, it's a real touchy subject when you're dealing with the abnormal, which is homosexuality or lesbianism or trans or the alphabet, children, the LGBTQRS elemental P, no disrespect. Um, it's real touchy. Um, when it comes to relaying this to the kids, I kind of side on the leave that to the parents type situation. Um, but what are you to do when it comes to children who might not have adequate parents to disperse the information on sexuality? I don't know. Is that the the job of the schools? Is it right for schools to have Pride Day and things of that nature? It does. What's the term? It's giving. It is. It's giving a little agenda. Can it be? I don't know. I don't want to offend nobody. At the end of the day, I don't want to offend nobody. But when you're having like flags and rainbows and all these colors that are very captivating to children, it feels a little manipulative. I'm not saying manipulative to the point where these people are trying to get kids to become gay, if that's even a thing that you can do. I don't know if the point of it all is to just educate children on different lifestyles, or is it to allow kids to have the option? I don't know, but it is different. It is interesting. This is definitely not something I grew up on as a child. There was no uh, drag queen story day or anything like that. There was none of this. It's very rigid in the ideals of, this is boys, this is girls, this is how we move, period. Um, but it is a new day, and it is a new way of thinking. Um, like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. I have my own personal ideals on that side of the game. I'm not gonna get into it because I'm not here to debate anybody. But this is something definitely I would love the feedback of the people. What do you think about videos such as that about having Pride Day in schools? My thing is, it was just a little. It just felt a little like, with the colors and all that stuff. Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know it all. I'm just here trying to learn, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? I think the conversation is more of a thing that we definitely need to have and continue to have. But at the same time, I will say that I don't know if it's just society or it's just the algorithm of my own Instagram feed that I keep seeing stuff like this reoccurring. You know what I mean? It's interesting nonetheless. This next video I'm about to show, courtesy of Great Dot Mind, excuse me, Great Dot Mastermind, Great Dot Master Dot Mind. I'm trying to get it right. Um, this is a very interesting. I saw this video maybe a couple of years ago, and it's about news and how it's dispersed nationwide. Tell me what you think. Is very interesting, kind of scary at the same time to know that our news can side on the edge of being propaganda. Check
A
this out.
video where it shows local news people. It's local news people all saying like the exact same thing. It's really weird. It's one of those things where you go like, I kind of knew that this happened, but to see it happen so blatantly.
Simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Yeah,
this is the scariest.
Well, that's propaganda. I mean, this is they're trying to bend a narrative in a very specific way for every.
That's frightening. That is frightening. I used to think that the news was just to disperse information that is gathered from investigation. Now, when you learn that most of these news outlets are all kind of like under the umbrella of certain corporations that are owned by whoever these rich people are, you know what I mean? But if you are, a billionaire and you happen to own a corporation who happens to own, I don't know, ABC News or CNN or whatever, you could kind of like impose your will, so to speak, in terms of this, disseminating information. Say, for instance, you have stocks in, I don't know, like a pharmaceutical company, and there's a drug that you want to use. Like if it's, I don't know, like if it's, um, I don't know, vaccine or something like that, and you want to, make money off of the creation of these vaccines because of, I don't know, like an epidemic or something. You could put it out there that this is mandatory and this is how you fight this disease, and if you don't take it, you are part of the problem, and yada yada yada. And, it's scary. It's scary. We live in very strange times, very strange times, and just to hear that, it lets you know that this news is not really about disseminating, not always about disseminating or dispersing, excuse me, uh, you know, information just for the sake of informing people. A lot of it is agenda based. A lot of it is to support the narrative of those that are in power. At least that's my opinion from what I can see. And just hearing that, I mean, all those news outlets, those all those studios, they all saying the same damn thing. So who put that together? You know what I mean? Who put that together, and why would it be dispersed amongst all of these outlets? What was the reasoning for that? That's kind of puzzling and troubling at the same time. But such is life. Your best bet is to kind of like just do your own information. If it's on the news, you might want to check again. You know what I mean? And the fact that the news has become something in which it only seems to scare you. It's really pretty much a way of giving out bad news all the time. Doesn't it feel like the news is just bad news all the time? And I have a family member who a couple of days ago called me. One of my elders called me randomly, and she was like, "I'm just calling you because you got to be careful when you go to the ATM because now they're saying that they got these people watching you and they got these way of taking your information through the machine and this and that and that and this." And This is an elder who clings to the news for all of her information. And I think that these news outlets kind of bank on that. They use fear to get you to watch. That's it. That's why you don't really see a lot of like positive things. And it'll make you feel like, damn, is life all about bad news? Like, that's it? Why are we, why is it so that all I see is war and robberies and killings and muggings and, you know, economy crashes and fires and this and that? And unfortunately, that's the frequency that seemed to draw in the masses to watch, not good news. If I had to look at that from a standpoint from like a movie or something like that, where there's like alternate dimensions, something like that, I would really feel like this is like the bizarro world. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing, not much good that happens on the news, which is unfortunate. We live in an earth with 7 billion people, and you mean tell me that only bad stuff happen all the damn time? There's no good news? I don't know. I have a problem with that. That's it's crazy. It's freaking nuts. Um, but I digress. This next video I want you to check out is courtesy of at VS Gent on Instagram. A lot of these videos is coming from Instagram if you haven't noticed by now. But I want you to check it out. It's Lupe Fiasco. And he's talking about if you don't know what to do with your masters, they are worthless. That's the name of the video. And this is for all you musicians out there, all you artists, burgeoning artists, rappers, singers, songwriters, so on and so forth. You know, check it out.
T5DOA once told me, I asked for my masters, and this said, what you want them in a suitcase? What you gonna do, walk around with them? And I took it offense because they wanted to give me a 360. And I was like, in order for me to get 360, I need masters because that's collateral because you're offering. Except a loan.
Bad loans.
Terrible loan. But it dawned on me. He was saying, what are you gonna do with them? And if I had to answer, which I should have had, which was, I'm gonna find the licensing company.
Boom.
And I'm gonna do a bunch of syncs with it. But my dumb was just like, just want them
they mine.
because Jay-Z got his. But your master's only as good as what you can do with them. If you can't do it with them, then they're worthless. You might as well just walk around with them in a suitcase. But Leo doesn't tell you that because he's a snake. But that's what he meant in his way of being unable to communicate except through the fangs of a demon. But what he was really saying was, what are you going to do with them? And do you have a plan? And if you don't have a plan, we do. And it's best to leave your masters with us because we'll go work them. You'll be on NBA and the television. We have a guy whose whole job is to do that.
He don't tell you that.
He don't tell you that.
Interesting. Very interesting. There's a lot to unpack in that video right there. Lupe Fiasco, an amazing rapper. I think he's from Chicago. I remember first seeing him on the Touch the Sky, Kanye West, and then he came out with his, you know, his own joint, that kick push joint. Oh, that beat was mean. He's an amazing rapper, very intelligent brother. I hear he's into Bushido, the art of the samurai, if I'm not mistaken. Leo Cohen telling him, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to put it in a suitcase? I personally, I find that kind of like belittling. You mean what you going to do with it? Leave them with us? Look, man, this is just my opinion. Even if you don't know what to do with it, if you can get it, why not? Why didn't he just sit him down and say, you know what? Listen, I understand you want your masters, right? And you might not know what to do with them if you do get them. Here's what you do with them. Because essentially, if you own your masters, which is the master recording of your works, your intellectual properties, your blood, sweat, and tears, the nights of you writing nights of you trying to work on your craft to get to a point where you can record in a studio, to get to the point where you can sign with a record label, to get to the point where you can put out music and go on tour and have your music play on the airwaves and so on and so forth. Somebody's going to make a lot of money off of it if that music is successful. That record label is going to make a lot of money if they can get them songs in movies, on TV. Hell, in department stores. They play music in department stores, soundtracks, video games. There's a lot of way to monetize on the music that you make. And you mean to tell me that you're going to belittle this man and not put him up on game? Coming from Leo Coleman, listen, I don't claim to know everything about the music biz. I'm a novice. All right. I learn things from here and there. I'm a musician myself. I learn things from here and there. I don't know everything. Hell, I don't even know all the things that you can do with your master. But one thing is for sure, I'd rather have them myself. I'm sorry. Somebody is we have this thing called the internet. You can figure it out. I'm sure Lupe has enough peers or individuals that he knows who do own their masters and can figure whether or not they are worthless in the eyes of this record exec named Leo Cohen. If they're worthless, then why the hell would you want them then? Riddle me that. Why would you want them? If they're so worthless, why would you want them? Because they're probably not. Not in the long run. This is wealth that this man could pass down to his kids. You know what I mean? Could you imagine the amount of wealth that is generated off of the masters of the works of Mr. Michael Jackson, a Prince, a Whitney Houston, a Robert Kelly? You see where I'm going with this? Why wouldn't you want this guy to own his masters? I think y'all know why. You know what I mean? Snakes in the grass. Record company people are shady. Kamal taught me that. Mr. Q-Tip said that a long time ago, and I think it's an issue of individual just being just shady and not really dropping game. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people who's gonna drop game and let you know what the deal is. All right. For our final video, I want to share something from T.K. Kirkland, the all-time great comedian. I saw him in Caroline's once upon a time, many moons ago. Rest in peace to the comedy club called Caroline's in Times Square. It's no longer there. Unfortunately, T.K. Kirkland is an amazing OG comic. I mean, he's been around since the 80s, man. Known everybody from Eddie Murphy to he worked with NWA. He used to go on the road with NWA. Like, damn, that's a long time ago. And it still rocking to this day. If you've never seen one of his shows, it's amazing. He's an amazing comic. But he said something really interesting that it probably resonated with you. It definitely resonated with me in terms of frequency and reading the universe. A lot of things that we don't often do that you should, you know what? I'll let him explain it to you. You definitely got to read the universe and check out, you know what? Just watch the video.
Now, when a woman doesn't want to rock with you, but the guy pursues her, you gonna get with me. We keep pursuing. At my age, from what I see, the universe is protecting you, but you don't see it. And you keep chasing this person that the universe don't want you with. Then you wind up having a baby. You start having some of the most chaotic things in your life happen. Pain, confusion.
Yes.
Because you don't understand frequency.
Yes.
See, when you get older, listening to people, that's why I'm on this
I've
planet.
been there.
You got to know how to read it like reading music. And when you see that the woman is not interested, don't be mad. It's that the universe sees something you don't see.
Yes.
And they're protecting you.
That is deep as in so many ways. I've been on both sides of that equation. I've been the person that was chasing the woman that whose life was in chaos, and thank God I mean, this is back in the days, way back in the days before this, you know what I mean? And I've also been the person that was pursued when my life was in chaos and I wasn't much of good to the individual that was chasing me. And this individual that was pursuing me more so pursuing, and when I say pursuing, I'm talking about pursuing a relationship with me. This is a beautiful individual. I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about in spirit and deeds. I mean, this was the type of person that, you it wasn't about, oh, what I can do for you. She was the type that would show you, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about in a physical manner. I'm just talking about just being there for one human being to the other, showing them love. And at the time, many moons ago, this, I don't know, like 2009, around that time, my life was in a lot of chaos. I was going through my own relationship BS, with one of my exes. And I just was not in a space to be in a relationship with anybody. So I was pretty much just out there. I was, what I mean, just doing what some dudes do, you know what I mean? Just having my little, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? you know what I mean? Just moving. And eventually it all came to a head because of one individual who I used to deal with, kind of like, she was jealous of the whole situation, and it was weird because me and her wasn't together anymore, and she had somebody. And she actually went up to the individuals who I was dealing with and kind of like just throw me under the bus and just try to throw dirt on my name just because I didn't want to be with her anymore. But you had somebody. Anyway, and this, it hurt one of the individuals, the young lady that I'm talking about specifically. And to this day, I felt bad about the situation. Like, she didn't deserve this. You know what I mean? But I think the universe might have been telling her exactly the same thing that TK Kirkland was saying in his video. Like, he ain't really the one, not at this time. You know what I mean? He got a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? And you know it. But a lot of times when you want what you want, you want what you want when you want it. And it ain't always good. You really have to read the universe. It speaks to you. And especially if you're a person with a good heart, I think the universe kind of want to take care of those individuals. They say God looks out for babies and fools. I think he looks out for everyone if God is an actual thing. I think he looks out for everyone, but you have to listen. You have to observe. You have to, God, they say God talks in whispers, that it gives you that feeling, that inkling that things ain't right. But a lot of times we want what we want. And then if you get it, like TK Kirkland said, you end up with chaos. You know what I mean? You end up having a baby with somebody or end up getting married, and ultimately this person, runs you through the ringer, or what have you, just mess. So it is always best to just try to read the universe, like reading music, like reading a book, because the signs are usually there. It's just that we are the ones that, tend to not trying to pay attention for our own ego because that longing for that individual, and that individual might not be the best for you, you know, might not be intentional, just might not at that time. Sometimes it's not the time. You know what I mean? People come into your life for seasons and reasons, and the reason could be to teach you a lesson during that season, and you are to learn from it, you know. So I found that very interesting, very fascinating. It really struck a chord on me, and I hope somebody out there was able to see that and gather some type of information from it, and maybe it apply to their life as well. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast for now. We'll be back real soon. I bid you adieu. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Holla at me, Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast on Instagram. You can check this out on YouTube. I am Ali Oxenfree at Ali Oxenfree. All right, check me out. This was fun. All right. Come back next time. We'll hit you with some more gems and jewels. All right.
That's right, y'all. You are now rocking with the best. This is the Top 5 Dead or Alive podcast.